Hello, my name is Phillip and today I'll be talking about Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Now, how many of you can tell me what the Mozart effect is? No, you cannot, because most people haven't really heard about this. It's a relatively new thing that they've discovered, that if you listen to classical music, preferably Mozart, and this is according to the New World Encyclopedia, and that if you listen to his pieces for around 10 minutes, your IQ will go up by a dramatic increase of 8 to 9 points. Now, in this speech, I will give insight on Mozart, and by the end, you will know that he's probably a lot more important than you might have thought. And I will be discussing Mozart's early life, his musical career, and his musical legacy on today. Now, in Mozart's early life, and according to the Huffington Post, entitled The New Mozart Portrait, that's the portrait right there, as a child, Mozart was known as Die Wunderkind, or the Wonder Child in English. This was on account of because he was musically brilliant at his very early age. He was already composing sonatas, he was composing violin concertos, and he was also a wonderful musician himself. He easily mastered the violin by age 7. Of course, his father found out about his wonderful musical talent and tutored him harshly and forced him across Europe, from Italy to England to France. You name it, Mozart's probably been there. Now that I've gone into his early life, I'll now go into his musical career. For some reason, Mozart could not, and this is of course according to by Piero Melograni and Lydia G. Cochran from Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, a biography, he could not compose any pieces unless he was asked to do so. Countless letters state this, like, I have so much free time, but I cannot put pen to paper. And he composed hundreds of pieces in his very short lifespan of 36 years. He composed around 202 hours of music, and that's around 7 hours per year. And, of course, the more he composed, the more his pieces represented his decline in health. Now, as I have stated of his musical career, I will now go into his legacy. Mozart was known as the note master. And not just because he was a brilliant composer, but also he was also, one of his many complaints was that he had too many notes in his pieces because the brain can only pick up so many notes at once. And as you probably might have noticed if you watched Looney Tunes or probably some epic movie where it's got a choral piece at the end at the climax, his pieces are used in many of today's shows or movies. And his pieces were the most classically beautiful ones out of probably any composer during the classical era. And as I've gone into his legacy, here are the things that I really would like you to go home with. Classical music makes you smarter. His music is still in common use today, and Mozart was one of the best composers that basically ever lived in history. Thank you for your time.